Did Jon Jones revive the 225 division? Did he make it kind of cool or popular again where people were really invested, and maybe it motivated the fighters where they wanted to compete at the highest level? And now you got, a stacked 225 where it's Jon Jones, Stipe, Sergei Pavlovich, this other Sergey guy that just fought Ciryl Gane. You got Ciryl Gane, you got Tom, you got Volkov, you got Tua. Like, it's stacked. It's a stacked division. And what I like is that these guys are not too old. Like, these are new faces in the UFC, and they're going to stick around. And I think the heavyweight division is going to be one of the most entertaining for at least the next 2 to 3 years in the UFC. Hey guys, welcome to the False Nine Podcast here with episode 159. We're here with a very exciting week. It's fight week. We got a pay-per-view event this week. We just won't talk about it on this episode yet. That'll be for Fridays. But it's a very exciting week. It's fight week, like I said. Embedded's already out. And you can start talking about predictions. Start talking about what happens if somebody wins or whatever. It's just exciting, especially when someone like Izzy's going to fight, and then what is it called? The heavyweight fight that's for co-main. It's just exciting. But like I said, that one's going to be for Friday's episode. It's Tuesday. We're going to do a little recap of what happened this weekend with UFC Fight Night. And that's kind of just much. That's really it. And then little things here and there. But I want to give an announcement real quick. This Saturday, obviously with UFC 293, I'm going to do a live stream. So it'll be kind of the same setup. But, I'll be watching the TV from here. I won't be showing the fight, but I'll just kind of be reacting to the fight, and I'll just be chatting. I'm sure not too many people are going to tune in. But the people that will, I'll try and be as involved as much with the chat. And, hopefully we can get some crazy reactions of the fight, and it'd be cool, to see some people join in or tune in and kind of just maybe just have a live watch party. That'd be fun. It'd be cool. So, guys, like I said, that'll be this Saturday, 9 p.m. Central Time. As soon as the main card starts, I'll do the live stream. So, like I said, it should be fun. It'll be exciting. It's my first time doing it. I want to do it. So tune in for that, guys. All right, so let's do a recap. Let's talk about Rose Namajunas. Just because the other fighters, like I said, I'm not too familiar, and I don't want to speak about something that I'm not too familiar, or the fighters. I just don't want to disrespect them and just kind of make something up kind of just for content purposes. I just want to talk about what I know, and maybe I just know the big names or popular names, but I'm starting that way. So we had Rose coming to this fight. Before the fight, a lot of people were kind of, at least I saw negatively on the internet, people talking about how, she's boring, she's a boring fighter. Maybe this is a decline, retirement was one of those words being thrown around. So I don't know, why that stigma or that just came about. I understand that her title fight was boring, and, that was her last fight before this one. And it's just let's see how she bounces back from a title loss. And like I said, just the fight itself, it was boring. And it just got a lot of hate. So this fight came in, and it sucked because she got injured right away. She messed up her pinky, and it just caused the whole fight, or her whole fight just probably changed, her game plan changed, and it kind of just ruined everything for her. So it's very unfortunate. And she lost, she kind of got beat up. She did the best she could, but it was kind of sad, or it was unfortunate to see that she didn't put out probably as much as she wanted to, and as fans that we wanted to see. So it's how do you kind of bounce back from that? And 2 back-to-back losses, it kind of, I think, from my perspective, it feels like kind of the world has turned against you. The whole UFC community probably turned against her, oh, she's boring, or whatever, retirement, she's not champion no more. And I don't like, thinking about that for fighters, because I'm like, man, they fucking train every day, they work hard every day, they cut weight, they eat healthy, to perform and to fight at the highest level, which is the UFC. And you basically just see everybody on the internet talking bad about you, that maybe you're done or whatever it may be. And I don't know, I feel like that's just tough, So hopefully she can manage to overcome all the chit chat or the noise, and just, if I'm Rose, just give me an easy fight, that I should be able to win. And that she can make it exciting at the same time, where she can gain back the confidence and her mojo, and she's just like in a rhythm, and she can be in her element, and then she can just start fighting at her best. Hopefully that's what can happen. Hopefully it doesn't lead to the sport basically retiring her, because that would be just kind of sad, to go out that way. And we see it with fighters all the time. It happens. The sport retires you, not you retire from the sport. So hopefully that doesn't happen to Rose. Like I said, I really want her to go and fight an easy fight and get her confidence back, get her mojo back, and then just see if she can still compete at the highest level where she can get a title shot again. Or maybe she'll just be, in the rankings, just fighting here and there, So that was that fight. The fight itself, like I said, Merritt, she fought good. I think she should be close to a title shot. I'm not sure. I want to say Grasso and I forgot her other. I want to say it's Holly Holmes. I hope it's her though. Oh no, is it Valentina? I think it's Valentina. Yeah, it's Valentina and Alexa Grasso. They'll be fighting in a few weeks. I want to say in 2 weeks. And this Mara girl who just beat Rose, I think she should be pretty close or next for the title fight. So we'll see how that fight goes. She made a pretty big statement that she should probably be next for the title. But like I said, we'll see. I don't want to speak about it too much just because I'm just not too familiar who else is in that division and the rankings and things like that. But I just heard it post fight that she wants the title fight and she thinks that she deserves one. So we shall see. So we had Ciryl Gane versus Sergey Spivak. And I mean, that fight, I was a little disappointed how the fight happened. I had high hopes for the fight for both fighters, or really for Sergey, just because he's had a lot of not a lot of, but his recent performances have been like, oh shoot, like this guy's good. I want to say he beat Tua, if I'm not mistaken, and then he beat Derek Lewis, and I forgot who the other guys that he beat, but like I seen one of his fights. I seen Derek Lewis fight, and there's another one where he got a nice knockout, and I was like, damn, this guy's pretty good, And for Ciryl Gane, obviously coming out of loss, facing Jon Jones, and he's fighting in Paris, so it's a fight kind of for his. It's a fight for him. It's a moment for him that could be basically made in Paris, France. He's a Frenchman. So you go in there trying to bounce back or just show like, you can bounce back from losing to Jon Jones. And it was a tough fight. I was like, this is going to be a really close fight. This Sergey guy, he's really good. He's pretty wild. And then Ciryl, obviously very technical. But, I mean, he just looked like nothing against Jon. So that when that fight happens and you just see Ciryl Gane like start slowly and then slowly start getting the edge over Sergey, and then he basically takes over the fight, and it's a Ciryl Gane's fight after that. I was just like, damn, like I really thought this Sergey guy had a lot more in him, or he had more fight in him where he can really perform and make it really competitive besides the first round. And that was just upsetting to see. I feel like something happened though with Sergey. Like I noticed that like during the fight, I noticed that something was sticking out his body. I was like, oh damn, he got like really bruised up. But later on, I've realized that like apparently like his rib popped out of place, or it started sticking somehow, some way. His rib started sticking out his body a little bit, and then Ciryl Gane just fucking punched it, or kept punching it, I bet, and attacking that rib cage. And I'm pretty sure it fucked up Sergey, and it caused him to lose the fight. Like I said, I don't know what happened there, but I think he clearly got injured, during the fight. It might have been that knee to the body from Ciryl Gane. I don't know what happened, but Ciryl Gane looked great. He looked fucking awesome. He looked sharp. He looked like he was ready to fight. And it's kind of to the point, like, what do you do with Ciryl Gane now? Like, he lost to Jon Jones, so he lost by a long, like, he lost by a lot. So I was like, well, he's not ready for a title shot again, even though he just beat Sergey. So, you look at the heavyweights, and you're like, damn, like the heavyweights, and I'm talking about that in a second. The heavyweights rankings. It's deep and it's competitive. Excuse me. So, for me, it's just like, well, there's one guy that came to mind, and I saw people talking about him too, which is Tom Aspinall. I hope I said his name right. And that guy's good, man. Like, I've seen him fight too. I don't remember who he fought last, but I know he beat Derek Lewis, the guy who's fighting this weekend. He beat Sergey, the guy that just fought Ciryl Gane. So, he's up there for sure. And I don't think he can. I don't think Ciryl can beat Tom. I think Tom's going to be the next heavyweight champion. But he hasn't been really tested yet, besides Sergey. But I think that's who Ciryl Gane fight, and I think that fight makes sense for both of these guys because, for Ciryl, it's just like, okay, you beat Sergey, which is like, I think he was ranked number 2 or number 1. You go ahead and beat Tom. I forgot what's his ranking. I think it's like 5. But, I mean, it doesn't matter, but it's a high-ranked opponent. So if Ciryl Gane gets a win over, he already got the win over Sergey. He gets a win against Tom. I mean, you're right up for the title shot again. For Tom, on the other hand, if he can manage to beat Ciryl Gane, he already beat Sergey, and he's beat Tua, and then he's beat Derek Lewis. He has a good resume too, so he gets a win over Ciryl Gane. I mean, he's next for the title shot. So I think that fight needs to happen, and that fight, whoever wins that fight, is next for the title. And one thing about Tom is that, he hasn't lost a fight, and I know he has 2 losses. I looked into those losses. The last loss he has was against Curtis Blaze. He threw a knee. He got it fucked up. I want to say he messed up his MCL, and it put him out. I think he was out for 8 months, or he was in 8 months when this thing I was watching. But he's already come back, and hopefully he's ready, and he can take someone like Ciryl Gane. And then the other loss he had, I want to say it was what is it called? The organization. And he got disqualification for downward elbows. So he really hasn't got put out. He hasn't lost a fight. He got disqualified and then he got injured, So those are 2 losses. So, I mean, that guy's good. And to see him against Ciryl Gane, I wish it was a title fight, to be honest with you. Like Ciryl Gane against Tom. But we'll see what happens. If we see those guys fight, I think whoever wins should go fight the winner. And, we all know who the champion is right now, which is Jon Jones. And to talk a little bit about Jon Jones, it was announced also this past week that who the backup's going to be. And we've been knowing about, what is it? When they're going to fight? Don't know when they're fighting. But we got Jon Jones and Stipe fighting. And, we're all excited about that fight, but you see who the backup is, and his name is Sergei Pavlovich. I want to say this name, Sergei Pavlovich. And I don't remember his name because it's hard for me not to remember things. So, but I seen him fight in Dallas when Brandon Moreno fought, and the Nunez and what's her name, Juliana Pena fought, and he fought Derek Lewis and took out Derek Lewis right away. And from that moment, I'm like, bro, this guy he's a beast. And after that, I've seen him fight, and I've looked at his previous fights, and I'm like, this guy can probably be the next champion. He's kind of like not popular. Like, not one I don't want to say he's boring. He's just not popular. But he's a fucking beast. He's a tank. And I think he can take on anybody in the division as well. Jon Jones, Stipe, Ciryl, or Tom. So to have him as backup, it's kind of a statement, like, whether he's next for the title or like from the winner of Stipe or Jon, which I think that's how it should be. I think the winner of that, Jon Jones or Stipe, should go fight, Sergei Pavlovich, and he should get his title shot. Now, so the other thing, I guess, like same thing with the division of 225, and we had the fight night. I don't remember. I don't think I have talked about the division like that, like a lot. Like I do with 155 and was it 175 and 165? And I don't know if it's because I'm getting involved with UFC a lot more now, or I'm getting as a bigger fan. But it kind of feels like the heavyweight division is getting popular again, And I started, and when I was doing research like for this podcast, that's when I realized that, and I'm like, damn, like the heavyweight division's kind of stacked, you know. With UFC Fight Night talking about Tom, and then you got Sergey and the other Sergey and Tua and Volkov that's fighting this weekend. Like I said, Tua's fighting this weekend too. And it's just like, man, the heavyweight division stack, and with Jon Jones coming back, and he's coming back at 225 when he fought Ciryl Gane. And you kind of got to ask yourself, like, did Jon Jones revive the 225 division? Did he make it kind of cool or popular again, where people were really invested? And as the fighters, like, maybe it motivated the fighters where they wanted to compete at the highest level. And now you got, a stacked 225 where it's Jon Jones, Stipe, Sergei Pavlovich, this other Sergey guy that just fought Ciryl Gane. You got Ciryl Gane, you got Tom, you got Volkov, you got Tua. Like, it's stacked. It's a stacked division. And what I like is that these guys are not too old. Like, these are new faces in the UFC, and they're going to stick around. And I think the heavyweight division is going to be one of the most entertaining for at least the next 2 to 3 years in the UFC. So it's really exciting. It's really cool, when you see a division just really kind of get really popular and kind of just get a lot of attention. So, not that it wasn't popular, not that people weren't invested, and like I said, maybe it's just me. I don't know if anyone else feels this way. But when Francis was champion, the only person I knew in that division was Francis, and who was the other guy? Stipe, because he got knocked the fuck out. But that's it. I knew about Ciryl Gane, a little bit about Curtis Blades, but I wasn't like, that division's crazy, like Francis Ngannou's a champ, he's probably gonna stay champion. But now it's just like, bro, that's a roster, it's a deep list. So like I said, it's pretty cool that the heavyweight divisions, stack like that. And there's a few divisions that are pretty stacked, but it's always super exciting to see those big guys, compete at the highest level and just throw bombs at each other. It's scary, it's dangerous, and it's fun. So I'm really looking forward to the next heavyweight bouts. Like this weekend's heavyweight bout, super fucking exciting, and then just the future ones coming up. And of course with the Jon Jones and Stipe fight. So that's that. A little bit about Jon Jones bringing back 225. So last two things here before we wrap this episode up. We got the announcement, Paul Felder coming back. He was talking about I just entered the USADA pool, nothing serious, not gonna fight. I'm feeling good, I'm training. Let's just see what happens. Blah, 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 blah. And for me, I'm just like, bruh, stop the cap. They already offered you a fight. You're training for a fight. You're ready to go. They're just trying to figure out the last details before the announcement. That's really what I think. And I want to give a shout out to what's his name? I know his first name is Josh. Where'd he go, man? Josh Peltz. Shout out to you, Brody. He DM'd me talking about how this fight needs to happen. So he found out, like I did, with that Paul Felder's coming back, and he said Paul Felder should fight Tony Ferguson. And I'm like, bro, that makes a lot of sense. Just because obviously how Tony's career's been, the losses that he's been through, and Paul Felder, he was always good, really good, but never to the point like champion level. No disrespect to him. And for Tony, Tony needs a win, before he gets sent on his way, or let this fight be his last fight against Paul Felder. So it's an exciting matchup. It's exciting to always see someone come back. Hopefully if they do come back, hopefully they're healthy, strong enough to come back and compete at that level. Because, we see guys come back and they're just not the same. They can't compete. They're not as good as we thought they were going to come back as, or they just lost it. So hopefully if Paul Felder comes back and he can fight Tony Ferguson and make an exciting fight, everyone's going to watch that just because it's Paul Felder coming back, and we all love Tony. So that fight makes a lot of sense. And I think it's a fight that we all would watch, whether it's on pay-per-view or fight night. So we should definitely make that fight happen. Now, the last thing, final thing I want to talk about is Errol Spence activated the rematch clause the last day of the month, and he is going to fight Terrence Crawford either the end of this year or beginning of next year at 154, I think, a division higher. That's what they want to do. It's kind of weird, when you hear about like a rematch like this, just because of how the fight went. The fight was a pure dominance by Terrence Crawford, and it's just like when someone gets knocked the fuck out or when someone just gets beats up and they want a rematch, it's kind of like, why do you want a rematch? Like you got beat in every aspect in the game or like in this fight. And I don't know if Errol Spence really believes like, the better, like he was just not on it that day or something was off or he was injured or he got outclassed, and I think it's a little bit of both, but if he comes back and they fight at 154, are we going to see are we going to see a better Errol Spence? We will see a better Errol Spence, and I've said this before because, he can't get a performance like that can't get any worse. The only thing that, you can get knocked out earlier, but I think you can only go up just from the performance he had. It was just bad. And I think he can only go up from there. So he's going to look better. But, I just don't know if he has what he needs. Like, does he have what it takes to beat Terrence Crawford? And I don't think he does. But it would be fucking amazing to see him turn it around and beat up Terrence Crawford. Like, you bounce back like crazy. Because everyone gave all this love to Terrence Crawford, how he's number one, he's the best, and Canelo versus Crawford, like that's the pedestal that he set, and then we all believe that's that. And can you imagine Errol Spence comes in there, shuts that shit down, and is like, nah, bro, like you caught me on a bad night, I'm the truth. Like, what if he does that? That would be one of the dopest things ever, and one of the biggest statements probably in the sport. So, I love a comeback story. I love to imagine the impossible. It gets me exciting and it's badass. But can he actually do it? The chances of that happening are very slim. But I'll be hoping for it, and I just hope for a good fight. And we'll see what all the details, what weight class and where, and just when. So I'll be looking forward for that. And when I find out, we'll talk about it. So guys, that's the end of the show. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget, this Saturday we'll be on the live stream, 9 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. What else? And guys, stay tuned because this next episode is going to be a banger. We're going to talk about this fight night or this pay-per-view, and it'll be exciting. And guys, I am grinding so hard. So, comment on the podcast and I'll reply to your comment as long as it's not negative. If it's a negative comment, I probably won't look at it. But if it's like reasonable, I'm going to look at it, especially if it's on the podcast. I'll look at it and I'll reply to it. And if there's any suggestions or anything that you want me to talk about or any fighter or whatever, just hit me up on the DM or a comment and I got you, So see you guys in the next one. Peace.